All right. What's going on? It is Friday. We are here. It is Chaos and Charcuterie. I am your host, Sean Ellis Rogers. I appreciate you. Welcome and welcome back to the personal experience and visual segment of Real Reality Realness. That's the podcast where I invite all types of creatives, artists, reality stars, etc., on my show to get to know them better, tell their life stories through their connections to artistry, creativity, pop culture, reality television, and the entertainment industry. This is a extension of that show where you guys can get to know me as I talk about different headlines and things that are going on throughout the news and tabloids, the blogs, the press, all the things of the things. Right? So I appreciate you guys being here. It is Friday. We have a lot going on. We have a lot of headlines and topics to get to. So until then, I'm going to update you guys on who has been on the show today and all the things going on. On today's episode, we had Britt from the podcast Oops, I Gossiped Again. It is a amazing podcast. She came and gave me an amazing interview. We laughed, we giggled, we kikied, we had a great time. It was so much fun. Make sure you guys go and tune into that. She was so much fun. I cannot wait for you guys to hear that. Also, there is a new episode of Housewives History out as well. On that episode, Megan and I um, we cover season 6, episode 2 of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That's the episode when Yolanda gets her crowns removed and she gets the porcelain crowns in, and Eileen and Yolanda go visit her. Kyle and Lisa Vanderpump go to Europe, and Mauricio gets lost in the Ferrari, and Kyle gets uninvited and then sort of re-invited by default to Nikki Hilton's wedding. It was a lot going on in that episode, so make sure you guys check that out as well. Monday on the show, I'm gonna have the YouTuber Raphael H. He does these amazing Housewives recaps on YouTube. Make sure you go follow him and subscribe to him on YouTube at I am Raphael H. Make sure you go and subscribe to Britt from the Oops, I Gossiped Again podcast. Make sure you go and follow her show. It is going to be such a fun conversation. On Monday's show, I just throw away the questions and we just have a kiki and we chat and we have a good ass time. So make sure you're there for that. That is going to be out on Monday, 7 a.m., just like the rest of the episodes, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And with Housewives History, that is out every Friday time, depending on if I have my stuff together or not. So, with that being said, also speaking of Housewives History Live, make sure you tune into the live extension of that podcast. The study group, Megan and I are going to be live on Monday, and we're going to be talking about all of the HCU news, the hottest topics, the hottest headlines when it comes to Housewives, all the things going on with the girls. And we're going to take one moment from the Housewives history and we're going to dissect it. So it's going to be a lot of hot topics and news when it comes to the Housewives cinematic universe. And then we're going to take a subject and we're going to dissect it from an iconic moment in Housewives history. The one that we're dissecting this week is going to be one that is actually going to align with an interview that I have coming out on my podcast next week as well. So I can't wait for that. I can't wait for you guys to see who's coming on the show. I can't wait for you guys to see the live show. And it's going to prep you for that because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, the interview that is going to, yes, make sure you're tuned in to Monday's live because I'm going to announce who's coming on the show, of course, but also I'm going to dive into something that we talk about on the anyway, just make sure you're there. Just make sure you're there. That's all I'm gonna say. Let's get back to the topics at hand, okay? Because we have some things to get through today. Listen, Sherry Shepherd's show has been renewed for 2 more seasons. Congratulations. Boom, 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 boom. Work. Shout out to Sherry. Sherry got two more seasons. Jennifer Hudson's show got another season. I'm not sure about our boy Karamo yet. But I've been tracking and following all of the black talk show hosts and seeing how the girls is doing. Sherry been out here killing it. Jennifer been out here doing her thing. So shout out to all the girls. Proud of y'all. So happy that Sherry's coming back. I literally watch her show every day. I watch Jennifer Hudson all the time too. Not Ladybug landing directly on my face. A ladybug just landed directly on my face. I didn't kill it because people say that it's good luck. People do say that ladybugs are good luck, right? That's still a thing. Now, if that's not a thing anymore, let me know. Because if it's gonna kill me, or if I'm gonna have bad luck now because of ladybugs, let me know if ladybugs are canceled. Okay. But shout out to them. That is amazing. I'm so happy for them. Um, I want to quickly talk about some people who have passed in the entertainment industry. It seems like we lost a lot of people yesterday, or it was reported that we lost a lot of people yesterday. So I want to say rest in peace to Lisa Marie Presley, who died at the age of 54. I want to say rest in peace to Tahana Patisse, one of the original 90s supermodels. She passed at the age of 56. I want to say rest in peace to guitar legend Jeff Beck, who passed at the age of 78. Um, Jeff Beck is from he is from uh, I'm sorry, my mind is escaping me right now, but he's a guitar legend. He like if you know who Jeff Beck is, you know who Jeff Beck is. But um yeah, shout out to all of those people. Shout out to all of their families. My condolences, my prayers and thoughts are with you. Um I'm not exactly sure what all of the reasons were for all of their passings. I just, extend condolences to their families and, wish them well. So I kind of keep that moving. Now, before we get into my dear segment, because there's some things that I also want to talk about. Like there is apparently spin-offs and daughters to Dear Abby. Because if y'all remember a day or two ago, I did a Dear Abby segment because I didn't realize that Dear Abby was still a thing. So I read a Dear Abby letter live on the air, and then I read the response, and I kind of just responded on if I agreed with it or not. So since I've seen that Dear Abby, now I've seen more of them, but also I've seen a whole bunch of other versions of it, like Ask Amy, Dear Annie. So I'm gonna do a whole segment on the show from now on called Dear A, where I just read Dear Abby, Ask Amy, Dear Annie, whichever one that I see for the day, and just respond to it because I think it was something so fun that I wanted to do. And I just think that it's just funny that that's still going. But before I get to that, I want to talk about E40. I want to talk about Teen Mom Cheyenne dropping 2 million on an LA mansion because there's something funny that comes with that. And then I want to get to the Dear A segment. So when it comes to E40, E40, he just got put on the top 50 greatest rappers of all time, but he still feels like he's underrated, right? This is coming from Hip Hop DX. I'm going to read the article to you. E40 still feels like he's underrated in hip hop despite being included on a new top 50 greatest rappers of all time list. The Bay Area legend took to his Twitter on Wednesday, January 11th, with a message regarding his placement on Billboard and Vibe magazine's top 50 greatest rappers of all time, which they saw the Bay rapper come in at number 41. Appreciate the recognition from Billboard and Vibe magazine for their 50 greatest rappers of all time list, E40 wrote. Still feel underrated nationally, but nobody can deny my longevity, independent hustle, my unorthodox style, and creative slang in this rap game. The list was unveiled Wednesday and is meant to celebrate hip hop turning 50 years old this year, starting with numbers 50 through 41. The artists that landed spots were Rick Ross, Rev Run, Melly Mel, MC Light, Jadakiss, Ice T, Queen Latifah, Bun B, Redman, and E40. Okay. The next 10 spots will be revealed next week and will continue the same pattern until the outlet reaches number one. Despite feeling underrated, E40 is still churning out music on a regular basis. The 55-year-old is fresh off of the release of Snoop Cube 40 Short, the collaborative album between himself, Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, and Too Short, otherwise known as Mount Westmore. The album released in December 2022 after initially being exclusive on blockchain. Okay, that has nothing to do with what I want to talk about. Thank you so much, babe. Thank you so much. Mwah. But I think it's very interesting. I think, as much as I love E40 as an artist, I can't really debate whether I feel like his placement on the list is justified or not, or if he's in the right place or not. I don't really have a strong feeling on that one way or the other, to be perfectly honest. I think that he is an amazing artist. I do think that he's underrated. I don't know how underrated he feels that he is in comparison to his placement on the top 50 greatest. Like, I don't know where he feels like he should be, but I do think that he does have a rightful place on this list because I do think that he created a wave in hip hop history. Like, I feel like he was the one that championed the whole hyphy movement that had its era in hip hop. So that definitely makes him a legend and makes him one of the greatest just off of, carrying that era on his back alone. You know what I mean? So shout out to him. I just think it's interesting. I just think it's interesting because, you know, how do people put together these lists? That's always the most interesting thing for me. When I ask people on my show who their top fives are, I always wonder what their criteria is when they're judging who their top five is. Because for me personally, I judge my top five by their personal impact on me. You know what I mean? And so it, you know, where they land on me, where they land on my list doesn't necessarily always have to do with whether I think who's the best, who's the worst, or rather, it's not necessarily a ranking by talent per se. For me, it's more so a acknowledgement of how much they've impacted me and what type of mark they've left on my life or influence that they've had on me, my career, the way that I approach things, approach life, whatever the case may be. So my top fives are usually kind of all over the place for people because they don't understand the criteria that I judge them with. But I wonder how these official publications come up with their top fives, or not not their top fives, but their top 50s and their top hundreds and their top albums, top artists, top this, top that. I wonder what is the actual criteria. Is it a numerical system? Is it just based on sales? Whoever sold the most, that's who places. Is it is it impactful on the people who are in the room? Like how is that judged? Because it is it it's an easy way to create discussion, but I wonder if there is an actual method to the madness. Do you get what I mean? So I don't know. I can't wait to see the rest. I'm gonna keep my eye out and see if this see who else is on this list. I'm surprised that the lower 10 is who it is. Um, Anybody that knows me knows how much of an MC Light fan I am. So it is shocking to me that she's in the lower 50. I guess that is probably how E40 feels. But yeah, I'll keep evaluating this and keep going down and seeing how that feels, seeing where people land on the list. I can't wait to see who they feel like their number one is and why. But Teen Mom Cheyenne, she went out to the LA and she dropped $2 million on a mansion, right? She went and got her little mansion down to the LA, spent $2 million on it, but she snubbed her new husband, Zach Davis, from the deed. snubbed. Their words, not mine, right? Cheyenne, 30, and her husband, Zach, 28, moved into their Northridge, California home with their children late last year. The U.S. Sun exclusively obtained the mortgage deed that reveals only Cheyenne is listed on the new home. According to the deed, Cheyenne took out a home loan in the amount of $1,590,500 and closed on October 13th, 2022. The home the official purchase price for the home was 1,988,519. So $1,988,519. According to building permit, wow. Okay, so she put okay. Wow, she did good. Okay, according to the building permits, the 4,310 square foot home has 2 stories, a garage, deck, patio cover, and more. Cheyenne and Zach have proudly shown off their new mansion both on YouTube and on Instagram. The main level features light wood floors, high ceilings. There's a cozy fireplace in the family room and windows that overlook the California mountains. The home has a modern black and gray furniture decor. Let's see. Is there anything else I care to talk about in this article? Cheyenne revealed they have a podcast room, a guest room, and even a man cave for her husband. The sprawling backyard overlooks the California mountains. Okay, we get that. Pictures of the house are cute, blah, blah, blah. Good for them. Zach's legal troubles. Okay, here's where I want to get to. Got it. Zach's name being snubbed from the deed could have to do with his recent legal troubles. He was sentenced to 4 months in jail in 2020 he was sentenced to 4 months in jail for a 2020 DUI incident in October after he changed his plea from guilty to no contest. He was also sentenced to 60 months of probation in order to pay a $500 fine. Cheyenne revealed that he wouldn't need to serve the jail sentence as he had credit for time served at the time of the arrest. Zach has a history of past arrests, including driving under the influence, theft, identity theft, and more. Cheyenne and Zach got married in September as their wedding was filmed for Teen Mom Next Chapter. They are also starring in the current season of Teen Mom Family Reunion. Okay, now it makes sense. I was like, okay, so like the word snubbed doesn't apply here because I was like, okay, what do you mean snub? That's really what I was trying to get to. I don't feel like I feel like that was smart. You know what I mean? I feel like they if something were to happen, that home couldn't be taken from them as a part of his legal woes and all of the things that he has going on. I feel like him not listing that as one of his personal assets saves the house from being taken if something were to happen to him and they couldn't, pay something or, whatever the case may be. I think, what else do you want? Like they got the house. It is what it is. I hope they keep it. I feel like if she can get approved for a loan that was pretty much what over 75% of the house payment, like over 75% of the actual retail price of the home, I feel like she'll be just fine. Um, Especially if this whole teen mom train keeps cooking. Hopefully she got some stashed in the safe. I don't really know what I don't really know her story like that. I only watch the first few girls when it comes to Teen Mom, so I don't really know what the girls are giving down there. But good for them, I hope all stays well. It's 2023, it's new year, new blessings. So, you know, enjoy the fruits of your labor or whatever. Hopefully you get to keep them. So let's get to Boy Meets World star Ben Savage is engaged to his girlfriend Tessie Angermeyer. All right. Let's see. The Boy Meets World alum 42 shared a photo on Wednesday of himself posing beside his now fiancee Tessa Angermeyer. For the shot, the twosome smiled as they posed in front of a pond in Owensville, Indiana. Both are dressed casually, though Angermeyer is sporting wearing a diamond sparkler on her ring finger. The best is yet to come, the actor captioned the snap. In a statement to People, Savage's rep. Sorry, I lost the page. Bugger. Sorry about that. I lost the page. Okay. So In a statement to People, Savage's rep says they are both very grateful and enjoying this time and their family and friends. Um, Danica McKellar, who co-starred with Savage's brother Fred on The Wonder Years, sent her well wishes with the comment section saying congratulations. Before popping the question, Savage shared several photos of the couple's time together during the holidays. In one snap in front of the couple posed in front of a Christmas tree resting on top of their car. "'Tis the season." Okay, so yay. Congratulations. Fred Savage's brother getting married. Shout out to the Boy Meets World star. God bless y'all. Mazel tov, whatever the people say. Let's go ahead and scurry on to this Dear Amy, Dear Annie ask. It's just a lot of people. I'm gonna start with Dear Abby because, as far as I know, she's the GOAT. I don't know if she's the first, but she certainly is the most popular or the one that I remember the most. Okay. So, Dear Abby, I am in an awkward situation and I need a diplomatic way to handle it. I own a business and one customer is persistently asking me to socialize. I always give him an excuse to no avail. He just continues to offer new dates and options. How do I get across to him that his invitations are not welcome without jeopardizing our business relationship? Help needed in California. Dear Help, tell this man you are flattered. He wants to take you out. However, you have one hard and fast rule, and that is to never date a client. Period. I agree. That Abby be knowing. I don't understand. You know, for me, take the business out of it. A no is a complete sentence, right? No matter what your excuse is, why you don't want to do it, why you can't go, why you won't go, why you shouldn't go. No is a complete sentence. If you've already declined his invitation and then he is persistent and you continue to decline, I feel like it may be worth losing the relationship business wise. I don't know how much he's contributing to your business, but it is bordering on the line of harassment at this point. I do think that you should start with Abby's advice and give him one last, I don't mix business with pleasure. I don't do that. Hopefully you've already said. I feel like that's what you should have said from the beginning. If you haven't said that, that wasn't specifically stated in your letter, but I feel like that should have been one of the things you specifically should have said in one of those excuses that you gave him of why you couldn't go out with him. I feel like I don't mix business with pleasure should have been the first thing. But however, go ahead and state the rule, keep it pushing. And if he doesn't, that might be a business relationship that you may want to reconsider, because if he doesn't respect your personal boundaries, I feel like that could cross over into his handlings of his business relationship with you as well. So you may want to be aware of that. That's all I'm saying. Um, so moving on from Dear Abby, I want to go into who's next. Let's see. Ask Amy. Ask Amy. Okay. Let's see. Ask Amy is Amy Dickinson. Okay. So, dear Amy, my husband and I own a small family business, but we don't run the day-to-day operation. We started the business with one of our sons, and he worked very hard for the first 3 or so years, but he started slacking off about 3 years ago, feeling as if he had earned the right to work when and if he wanted. The last 18 months, he's hardly worked at all. He has done nothing to help the company's bottom line, even though we've struggled financially. So, after consulting counselors and a lawyer through this ordeal, we have decided that we must let him go. He will receive his pay and benefits for 6 months. I feel horrible that it has come to this, as he is also going through a messy divorce. He is obviously quite taken aback and is distant from us, even though I think he realizes that this is ultimately his own doing. How do I reach out to him and stay connected and reassure him that we still love him and want a relationship? There are also grandchildren involved who need us and the stability we offer in addition to our love and support. That was interestingly worded. My heart is torn and aching, but we had the other employees to consider and the viability of our company. My hope is that we can get past this and find a way to maintain our family bond. Signed, Distressed Mom. Dear Distressed, I can imagine that your son might not welcome an in-depth discussion about this decision because revisiting it is to revisit his own failure. But I think you need to talk about it, or at least convey that you are willing and available to talk about it. I suggest that you start by affirming that you are aware that this is a tough time for him. Tell him that you hope he understands the professional choice you made and say that you are willing to talk about it or answer any questions he might have. Affirm that your love and support Affirm your love and support and let him know that you are in his corner and he as he gets through this challenging time. Continue to reach out to him even if his reaction is subdued. Invite and include your son and your grandchildren in family events. This particular episode might prove to be a wake-up call for him, but it could take him time before he realizes it. Yeah, listen, I appreciate the acknowledging that he's going through a messy divorce, but then also of the same token, you shouldn't bring your home life to work, or you shouldn't let your home life take away from your work. They always say in professional environments all the time that you don't bring your home life to work. When you cross in that door, you at work and you at work and it's up and it's stuck. So for me, I don't feel like the fact that he's going through a divorce is a proper excuse for his lack of work in the professional work environment or in his workplace. I think that if anything, he should be working more because he's got to be able to afford this divorce. If there's no if there's an alimony situation involved, he's going to have to pay that. If there is a child support situation involved, he's going to have to pay that. So I don't understand why he ain't working. Like, and this is going on for a year and a half. Like, how have y'all been like, from the way that this letter is worded, it seems like he has an imperative part in the company. Thank you so much, Lauren. I appreciate you. You have a great day as well, babe. I just don't understand how this has been tolerated for a year and a half. This has been 18 months that he has been completely slacking, or that he has been slacking or completely unavailable for your company. How has that been working? How, like, what? And then on top of that, it's like, if this was somebody who wasn't your family member, I don't feel like you would have extended them this much grace. If this was not your son, I don't think that you would have allowed this for 18 months to go on with them just showing up to work when and if they felt like it, as you specifically stated. That, like, this, like, that whole Nepo baby conversation that was going around on social media a week or two ago, this is the type of shit that gets me involved in that conversation, because I don't feel like there's an issue with nepotism as long as it is operative and productive on both sides. I feel like if you have the access to give to your children, give it to them. However, the children have to be able to take the access and the opportunity that you give them and forge their own paths. But however, you can't use your access and the you can't use your access and the privileges that you may be able to afford your child as a crutch and a way to enable bad behavior. If you use your privilege and your crutch to them as an scapegoat, then all of a sudden that becomes a negative, and you're negatively reinforcing nepotism by letting them slide by, not do their part, and have an in an in an in an inadequate work experience because they aren't actually working for it. Do you get what I mean? This is what that nepotism conversation is about. I just don't think that that's okay. I just don't think that that's okay, and I don't think it's smart. But going back to this situation, I don't think you would have let somebody who was not your child run over you like this down to your business and your place of employment. Reganis Pink, how are you, darling? I am well, baby love. I am good. I am feeling well. I am, doing the this not e out here doing the things, feeling the things, doing the waves, all those things, kissing babies, shaking children, all that. How are you, my love? But I think that you've created a crutch that you now have made it even more difficult to get yourself out of because you've allowed this to go on for so long. There's a lack of understanding as to why you're pulling the plug now. Now it's harder for him to understand why you're firing him if you've let him go on like this for a year and a half. Why is it an issue all of a sudden now? You know what I'm saying? And it's probably not even all of a sudden. I'm sure that there have been warnings. I'm sure that there have been statements said. I'm sure that there have been, probation, or at least I hope that there have been probations and stated warnings given and all of those things. I just don't. A year and a half, 18 months, you let this person just show up when and if they wanted to. The when and if stuck out so hard for me. Like the only reason y'all are letting him go get away with this is because this is your child. So you've created this monster and now you have to deal with it. Do I think that it sucks that he's going through a divorce? Sure, but that don't have a damn thing to do with the fact that he ain't showing up to work. That ain't got nothing to do with his work. It don't. It don't. Because if you make a obligation to do something, then you need to get the hell up and do it. And as I keep saying, people say, don't mix business and pleasure. That also applies to leaving your personal life at home when you come to work. Just saying. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Here to listen to the gospel and support you. Thank you, baby. Nepotism babies got every industry down bad at this point. I haven't really engaged in the conversation around nepotism babies. I think that, as I was trying to convey earlier, there's good and bad when it comes to nepotism. I even mentioned it in my song Do Better on my mixtape IOU that I released back in 2020. I said, um, I only say it because I got it from nothing. My parents made it, but you'll just have to go and listen to the song. I can't remember there's something that I'm skipping in that line, but I specifically say that nepotism never tagged me to jump in. Because I never got the opportunity. Like I could have experienced being a nepotism baby, but I never got the opportunity to have that because my parents didn't believe in my talent. But that's neither here nor there. Who are we talking about specifically? I'm reading, like, you remember Dear Abby? I'm reading an offshoot of her called Ask Amy, and I'm just going through different offshoots of like Dear Abby. So I did a Dear Abby one, I just read an Ask Amy one, and I'm gonna be doing a Dear Annie one. I think there's a third one on here too, but it's three different women who have these interview who have these Ask Me segments, and they all start with A, and I just thought that was pretty interesting. So I thought that I was gonna start a segment on here that is about reading these and giving my opinions, right? So yeah, friend of a friend nepotism isn't always a bad isn't always bad as parent of a child nepotism. I agree with that. I don't, it depends because we always say that we have to lift each other up and we always have to, hey, tell it, hey, baby love. Um, People say that we always have to lift each other up and be a part of the community and do what we need to do to, carry ourselves as Black people and be an active part of the community. Yet, and however, when we do, all of a sudden it is nepotism. I think, where does that line draw between nepotism and, networking and community trajectory? Do you get what I'm saying? I think it's that catch 22 of like, we tell our people, when you get up, reach somebody to bring them up with you that deserves to be there. People don't always add that fine print to that, but when you reach back and help people up, I think you should reach back and help people up that are deserved and prepared to be in that position with you, and don't just reach back and grab up Mookie, Pookie, and Ookie. I'm just saying, new shade. I don't know, Dear Abby. Maybe I'm just old. Maybe I'm just old. This was a thing that happened back when newspapers were a thing, back when people were excited about things being hot off of the presses, if you will. Um, this was a thing that ran in newspaper. It still happens today. I just didn't know it. I thought that Dear Abby was long gone, and then I just happened to come across it when I was going through my Google app looking for things to talk about on an episode one day, and she was recommended, and I was like, "What? Dear Abby is still a thing?" Love that. And then the next day after I did the story, I got in my Google feed again, and I noticed like all of these offshoots: Dear Amy, Ask Annie. It was just like, what is it, and why do they all have the name A? First of all, that was something I was like, what the Pretty Little Liars is going on here? Okay, I'm not here for it. I'm also not. So you just going, but okay, Abby, thank you. Thank you for that. You couldn't even close the door behind. Okay, cool. My dog just busting here like she pay bills. I don't know what the hell going on. She could at least close the door behind her, but all right, cool. Um, but yeah, but the topic of the letter was basically this woman is writing Annie because, or Amy, I can't remember who it was, but she sat here and let her son, who works for the company that her and her husband owns, they have this company that they run. Her son works there. He's been slacking off for the past year and a half, 18 months, and he been showing up when and if he feel like it. Maybe he gonna come to work, maybe he not. And then they done finally fired him, and he's been distant from them. He don't want to talk to them or whatever, blah blah blah. The side note that she tried to give as a caveat is that he's going through a messy divorce and she feels bad and she wants to maintain their family relationship, blah, 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 blah. And I was basically saying, okay, one, this is why you don't mix family and business. This is why people don't say don't go into business with your family. That's why people say that. One. Two, if this was somebody who was not your child, you would not have let them go on this long without reprimanding them or firing them. I'm sorry. Like the first no call, no show, down to the Hardys, your ass is getting fired. Like, I don't understand how that even makes sense for you to sit here and 18 months, you let your child just show up when and the hell if they want to, if they when they want to, how they want to, show up late, leave early. Like you just and still be paid. And then on top of that, then on top of that, you gave his ass a severance package. 6 months worth of severance, full pay and benefits for 6 months. Would you have done that to anybody that was not your family member? I feel like this is what I was saying when you came in. I was saying that nepotism goes wrong here because this is not where you should be applying nepotism. This child don't deserve not now lick of nepotism that you got up in your sack, shorty. That don't make no sense. That is 18 months. Yo, bro, that's completely unacceptable. It's completely unacceptable. Unacceptable. It is. It is unreal. How and why? If this was Jessica down to the office, if this was Marion down to the finance department, if this was Keisha in the mailroom, y'all would have fired her. Like what does that mean? But then she's sitting here talking about how sad she is that her son is upset with her, and she don't want it to break up their family bond and all this other stuff. And I was like, well, you should have put your foot down a long time ago before this mess became a habit. Because maybe had you put your foot down a long time ago before he got used to you letting him do whatever the hell he wanted to do, maybe it wouldn't have been such a shock when you up and pulled the plug. I'm just saying. That's really like I just that doesn't even make no sense. Like, thank you. Like, girl, if that was Taisha in the kitchen, she wouldn't have had no job, no benefits. She wouldn't have got no severance. What? Like, what? Like, where did they do that at? I think that was just completely absurd. I think it was completely just random as hell. Hey, Gabrielle, baby, how you doing? Mwah. Um, that was love, not smoke, by the way. Shout out to Candace. But I don't get that. I don't get it, and I don't like it at all. But I'm gonna move on to the next story because I'm only on here an hour, and so I done gave this girl about 30 minutes. Child, well, whatever. Let's move on to Dear Amy. Okay. So we done did Dear Abby. We done did Ask Amy. Now we're gonna move on to Dear Annie. Yeah, this is too many A's, child. It's starting to feel like the Ashleys from Recess. Y'all remember the Ashleys? Wage theft, full blown. Like they are scammers at this point. Like this is money laundering. Embezzled? Embezzled. This is embezzlement at this point. Like if like y'all may as well just be shipping money to foreign accounts. Y'all want my cash app? I'll show up to work. I don't know what y'all do down in your company, but I would definitely give y'all some work. Okay. Um, like what that mean? But yes, the Ashleys. Let's get into the Ashleys. Okay. Dear Annie, the third Ashley of the day. That's what I'm gonna call this, the Ashley segment. You so funny. Yes, embezzled. Honey, clock your references, children. Drop down in the comments if you know where that comes from. Embezzled? Embezzled. Anyway, dear Annie, recently during a visit for my 50-year-old son, I was bullied, threatened, taunted, and treated cruelly by him. First of all, how are you bullied by your own child and by your grown ass child? But let me get through the article first. I don't know why. I responded indignantly while my husband said nothing. His behavior was unlike anything I had ever experienced. Although I have seen him bully others many times, I have heard no words of regret from him after many months. His behavior and my husband's lack of response still cause me deep pain. I continue to offer financial support to him that I've always provided, back to that nepotism conversation. But now I feel conflicted about it. I don't want to make this about money because this isn't the case. Stopping the money seems to confuse the issue, which is really about his behavior and lack of remorse. That is a good point. Other than ignoring him, I don't know how to react. What is a reasonable response to his actions? Signed, bullied mom. That sounds so goddamn sad. That that is my reaction, Reganis. Dear bullied, it's high time to cut the cash flow, not as a punishment, but as a reminder to your son and yourself that you are not an ATM. You are a living, breathing person who deserves respect and love from her family. He'll throw a hissy fit, no doubt, but tough cookies. Most 50-year-olds don't get allowances. As for your husband, the only way to find out what is going through his head that day is to ask him. He might have been equally intimidated by your son, but whatever the reason, let him know you'd appreciate his backing you up should anyone treat you that way again in the future. Um, listen, the fact that you know what, I'm not even gonna speak to you giving this grown ass man money. That's really not money. You giving that whole money? How much of that she giving up? No, let me stop. Anybody that knows me knows I love a good reference. Clock your references if you know what the hell I'm talking. Money? You giving that whole money? Like anyway, the fact that a parent is still providing their 50-year-old money with like financial support, like you paying his bill. Like it's not even like, oh, let me hold $20 for gas until I get my check. Like financial support, like that gives I'm paying your bills. Like that's giving like I'm paying your rent. Like that's giving like utilities. Like that's giving taxes. That's giving car notes. That's giving groceries. I'm confused. I don't understand how a 50-year-old man is being financially taken care of by his parent. Is he isn't like he's clearly not an invalid. He's clearly not unable to take care of himself, being that he's able to run up in your house and tell you what the fuck to do. I mean, what to do up in your household. So I'm confused as why all of it, oh, what? Ain't no grown nobody about to run up in my house and tell me what to do with shit. I'm sorry. God bless you. Like, or whoever it is you pray to, Satan, Kabbalah, Scientology, like the Miscavige family, whoever it is you pray to, you need to go figure that out with them. Don't bring that up in my house, first of all. I don't understand what that means because at the end of the day, you need to have a moment of self-reflection as a parent to figure out why the hell your 50-year-old son still financially depends on you. That at this point, there needs to be a conversation with him on why he can't get up off his ass crack and go find his ass some type of hustle, financial stability, something like a sugar mama, something like a sugar daddy, anything like why he not out here getting to something, right? But then it also makes me want to question you, and it's like, why have you been enabling this behavior for so long? Once again, it goes back to Dear Amy. I don't understand how. Quick pause. Hold on one second. Because I'm also recording this for the podcast, and it gave me a marker that was like, hold on, you need to take a break and go ahead and fix this and cut this real quick because you're getting close to your time. Oh, so you need to go ahead and fix your segment. But yeah, I don't give me just one second. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. Okay, that's there. Okay, that's that. Let's get back to it. Okay, so that goes back to this conversation about parents enabling their children's bad behavior. How the hell have you gotten along this long with your child being able to disrespect you? Like, at the end of the day, I don't care if he's never come in your house and spoken to you like that. At the end of the day, the fact that that man is 50 years old and still relies on you financially, that is disrespect. And th- I'm assuming he is an able-bodied person who is able to get up off his crack and get up and go work. I don't give a damn if he going to sit. I ain't gonna say that. I ain't gonna say sell crack. I ain't gonna do all that. But I am gonna say I don't understand that part of it from either side of your participation in that agreement, right? Now, when it comes to your husband, when it comes to your husband, I'm trying to afford some understanding because the fact that the fact that your son is 50 years old, that would automatically imply to me that you were at least 65 or older, right? So it bothers, so I can understand and give some allowance for the fact that you are older people, right? But and however, the fact that your husband has said and done nothing, and this has been months removed from the situation, and you still have no explanation or understanding as to why he did not attempt to defend you in any way, that there needs to be a higher conversation of what you allow in your own life, because you as a 50-year, as you as a grown ass woman, you allow way too much from the people around you. You allow way too much from the people in your life, and I think that you need to get a rein on your own self-worth and your own self-value, because clearly you don't think you deserve better than that. Because if you don't think that this man is going to defend you against your son, what makes you think he's going to defend you from getting mugged in an alley somewhere? What makes you think that he's going to be able to defend you when you get snatched up at your car outside of the movie theater? Like, what are you like? I don't understand. Like, and the fact that you're not detailing any type of other information about his condition means that he is another able-bodied person who was able to step in and help you, or at least say something if he cannot physically step in and protect you, right? Take gender out of it. Y'all could have been lesbians. Like it's not about him being a man. It's not about him, a man need to step to a man. It's not even about that for me. Because you know that I don't subscribe to gender or gender norms. So But it's the fact that this is somebody who is your spouse. This is somebody who is your partner. This is somebody who is supposed to have your back at all times. And they stood there and did nothing, even if they could not um, be able to apprehend the individual that is putting you in harm's way. The fact that they stood there and did nothing at all and then did not acknowledge the situation to try to explain after the fact, and you're months removed from it. I don't. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. I don't think that's right. Like, it's not right, and it's not okay either. Okay, like, it's not. I don't understand that. Um, I have seen 50-year-old men still be taken care of by their parents from all races. It implies that they made their child super important and didn't teach them independence if they're still doing this. I completely agree. I think that for you to like it's giving codependence. It's giving you're just as it's giving you're just as dependent on your child needing you as your child is dependent on you taking care of them. It's giving like this is transactional. This is giving win-win. This is giving both of us get something. It's giving I don't mind sacrificing my cointadas for my child and they bills long as they stick around and I'm able to feel like I'm a mother that's needed. I don't know what type of confidence issues you have as a woman, but I feel like you need to do some self-reflection and some work on you, because for you to allow your son to one treat other people like that, so for you to act surprised when this eventually came around to you, that is reading a little sus for me, because you said you've never heard him speak to you like this even though you've seen him bully others, many others. You specifically used the word many, right? So I am disappointed in you that you enabled that kind of behavior and thought that it was okay to jump in and to think that it was okay to allow him to do that to other people and not have any type of inclination that this could come back around at some point when you didn't give him what he wanted. Let me guess. Because you're saying you're claiming that this came out of nowhere. It make like it gives to me you didn't give him what he wanted. He wanted some money and you didn't want to give him no money. So he went off and he cussed you out. It's given he has a drug problem. It's really giving he has a drug problem and he need monies. And when you didn't want to give him no monies for his fix, he went off on you. Just like other people, like his girlfriends or his wives or his brothers or his sisters, when they didn't want to give him no money so he can get him no druggie, he went off. That's what it's giving. I'm not saying that your son has a drug problem, but under the circumstances and within the context that you're giving me, that would be my assumption. That would totally be my assumption. I'd be like, girl, you smoke that shit. You smoke. You own that shit. I feel like he own that shit. Because that's giving very addict behavior for you. Like it's like you're saying that he's having these random erratic outbursts, but then you're using the word bullied, which to me implies that there is a consistency of behavior and that it's led to a pattern. Like to me, for somebody to be bullied, they would have to be attacked and put in this situation multiple times. But she said that but the way that she contextualized the overall situation, it feels like it was an isolated incident with her that she's seen happen with other people. So the word bully may just be an exaggeration or an extremist statement. It is fully giving man child, Reganis. It's fully giving man child. It's giving big ass baby. It's giving little bitch boy. It's giving little girl. It's giving boy. Like it's giving all of that. Like it's giving take a nap, read a book, take a class, learn a trade, get a job. Some like it's just I don't understand. Like what are you out here doing and why? Like, like we need to have a conversation with ourselves as parents. And the reason why I'm able to be so flagrant with my opinions and so direct with my opinions on this, one, because it's my one, it's my damn platform, and two, because I am a parent. And as a parent, I don't understand what the hell that means if, like, you're supposed to be rearing the child. Your child is not supposed to be able to treat you like a bitch on the street. I say that, and I say that with the implication of, I'm not saying that your child has to be scared of you, because I know with me being a black parent, most people think I'm implying that I need to put the love, I need to put the fear of God in my children, and my child better be scared of me. No, it's not about fear, it's about respect. And at the end of the day, there needs to be a certain level of respect that your child has for you that they don't have for anybody else in the world. There are just certain people that you have different levels of respect for, and your parents and your spouse are one of them. But I, for a child to be able to look their parent in the face and treat them like that, that reads as a lapse of enforcement on your part. I'm not saying that it's your fault, because I've seen children be raised the exact same and turn out completely different. If a child is an evil bastard, then he's going to be an evil bastard. But, and however, there is a lack of boundary drawn on your part that made him feel like that was okay to do. And then on top of the fact that you're financially supporting him, it gives him the implication of security after treating you like that. Because there could be a case made for you taking care of your grown ass child if he never disrespected you, never treated you no type of way, never raised his voice to you, never gave you no problems, was always a perfect child, always did anything you needed him to do. If you if that was the case, I could be like, okay, I don't necessarily think I agree with that, but I'm not necessarily gonna, you know, apprehend you or or critique you for it. But the moment that he flipped that shit on you and he cussed you out and did all of that, the moment that all of that went down and you still acted like it was another day, it's not about the money. And I get that perspective of you saying you not wanting it to be about the money, and stopping it will confuse the issue. But the issue is not even about the money. It's about the fact that you have allowed that type of behavior to now become okay, because there has been no reprimand, there has been no consequence, and there has been no repercussion. That is the problem. Okay. It's not about, oh, we're making it about the money. It's the fact that this is a consequence for the way that you treat me. At the end of the day, I as a parent say to my child all the time, I'm willing to give you whatever you want under the sun, as long as you do what you need to do on your end, which is respect me as your parent, do what I need you to do what I ask you to do, and take care of your business in school. Period. So I think the lesson of the day when it comes to Amy and Annie is, y'all y'all need to draw boundaries. Not Amy and Annie, but I'm talking about the people who wrote into them. Y'all need to draw boundaries. That's it. Draw boundaries. Get a certificate, please. On that note, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off of here. I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you so much for joining the show. I will be back on Monday. Let me know if y'all like my Dear Ashley's segment. I think that's what I'm gonna call it. The Ashley letters or something like that, because I just think it's funny that all these ladies' names start with A. And that I just thought that was funny. So I'm gonna choose a letter from each one of their platforms each day to read something from, and just give my opinions. I think that's what I'm gonna do the second segment on. But make sure you go check out the podcast, go subscribe to my YouTube channel, Georgia Carolina, Georgia, spelled like Georgia Smith, Carolina spelled like North and South, both states. Follow me here on Real Reality, on the Real Reality Realness. Follow me at Sean Ellis Rogers. On the show Monday, we will be having, who will we be having on the show Monday? Let's see. We will be having on the show Monday Raphael, the YouTuber. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Go and subscribe to him. Go and listen to my episode with Britt from Oops, I Gossiped Again. And make sure you are here for the study group on Monday, the drag chat video where me and Giselle will be talking about Drag Race. Love you. Bye. Well, it cut me off on Instagram, but I'm gonna finish it over here. Um, Monday drag chat with Giselle. That's not gonna be live. That's gonna be pre-recorded. I'm gonna record that and I'm gonna try to drop it on Monday. If not, it'll be out on Tuesday. So make sure you look out for that. Subscribe to the podcast, Real Reality Realness. Subscribe to the podcast, Housewives History. Stay tuned for Groove and Gravity with Dave Lennon from Lost in the Groove, and me, Sean Ellis Rogers from Real Reality Realness. We're going to be combining to talk all things music, art, and the weight that it takes and the weight of the artist to get to their art. So stay tuned for that. I'll be back later. I may go live during the weekend. I don't know. Drop down in the comments and see if you want me to go live. If there's something that you want me to talk about, we'll see. But until then, love you. Bye.